Have you ever gone to bed early and still woken up feeling worse than when you lay down? The room was dark, the sheets smelled faintly of lavender, your pillow warm from the day, and yet your eyes open heavy, your chest a little tight, your mind foggy. If that sounds familiar, the culprit might be closer than you think. Sometimes what we snack on in the kitchen just before lights out quietly disrupts sleep, raises blood pressure, or irritates digestion and the heart. After 65, the body changes in ways that make these nighttime choices more influential. Digestion slows, reflux becomes more likely, REM cycles shorten, and inflammation can linger. Today, I will walk you through 8 foods seniors over 65 should avoid before sleep and what to choose instead. Item number 3 in this list is one you must pay attention to because it is linked to nighttime heart issues. I do not want to scare you, I want to give practical information you can use tonight. Tell me in the comments what your usual bedtime snack is. Your experience might help others. Here at Evergreen Health Guide, we turn simple facts into small changes that protect sleep and heart health while keeping your independence. Before we begin, let me introduce the people whose stories will illustrate each food and how small swaps made a big difference. You will meet Maria, a retired school librarian who loved spicy soups; Jose, a former mechanic who craved sweets after dinner; Ruth, a neighbor who reached for cured meats; Dr. Patel, the geriatrician who explains the physiology; Nurse Ellen, the home care nurse who checks medications; Anna, the daughter who helps with shopping; Sam, the grandson who brings tea; and Peter, an exercise buddy who watches blood pressure. These are everyday names and everyday habits. I will start with Maria and her curry soup to show how a familiar flavor can turn into nightly reflux. Pay attention to the sensory details I describe and the timing suggestions I give because they are what make a small adjustment possible right away. Item 1. Pungent spices and hot sauces. Maria, age 71, loved the aroma of her evening curry. She would simmer onion, garlic, and spices until the kitchen filled with warm orange steam. Dialogue scene. Maria said, "I just need a little heat to feel satisfied." Sam, the grandson, replied, "Just a spoonful, Grandma. You always say it helps you sleep." Maria laughed and said, "It makes me feel like the day ends with flavor." Nurse Ellen warned, "I have seen that spice wake you up with heartburn before." Dr. Patel added, "The acid and heat can relax the lower esophageal sphincter and cause reflux." There are 4 exchanges in that kitchen moment that show care and worry and humor. Sensory notes are strong. The spicy steam prickles your nostrils, the curry oil leaves a glossy sheen on the spoon, and the warmth settles into the chest. Physiological explanation. Spicy foods stimulate acid production and can trigger reflux, which fragments sleep and can mimic chest discomfort that is mistaken for heart pain. They also increase circulation to the gut, which can interfere with the quieting of the nervous system that promotes REM sleep. Practical alternative? Try a mild warming broth with turmeric and ginger in smaller quantities and stop 2 to 3 hours before bed. A cup of warm chamomile or a small portion of plain protein, like cottage cheese, can be a gentler substitute. Recommendation? Timing: avoid heavy spices within 3 hours of sleep and monitor symptoms. If you feel persistent chest tightness, consult your doctor. Item 2. Sugary desserts and candies. Jose, age 68, would open a small tin of cookies after the news. The buttery scent would float through his narrow kitchen, and the sugar would taste like a reward. Dialogue. Jose said, "I earned a treat after the day." Anna, his daughter, replied, "You always crash at night after those cookies." Jose answered, "I just feel peppier for a while." Dr. Patel responded, "That spike, then the drop, can wake the autonomic nervous system." There are 5 exchanges that reveal routine comfort and concern. Sensory details include the crisp snap of the cookie, the sugary dust on fingers, the warm sweetness lingering on the tongue, and the slight jitter of energy coursing through the limbs. Physiological explanation: rapid sugar spikes increase blood glucose, then insulin causes a rebound hypoglycemia or sympathetic activation, which can fragment deep sleep and raise heart rate. High sugar also promotes inflammation, which over time affects sleep quality.
Practical alternative? Swap to a small handful of unsalted nuts with a piece of fruit earlier in the evening, or a plain yogurt with a sprinkle of cinnamon 2 to 3 hours before bed. Timing: suggest finishing sweets at least 2 hours before lights out and pair with protein to blunt the spike. If you notice palpitations, seek medical advice. Item 3. Processed and cured meats. This is the one to watch. Ruth, age 74, loved slices of salami and prosciutto with her evening salad. The fat glistened under the kitchen light, and the salty smell made her think of holidays. Dialogue. Ruth said, "A little meat always helps me sleep." Peter, her friend, replied, "It is tasty, but I worry about the salt." Ruth answered, "It is my little ritual." Dr. Patel interjected, "We have to be careful because nitrates and high sodium can affect blood pressure and heart rhythms." Nurse Ellen said, "I once checked Ruth at 2 a.m. because she felt dizzy." This kitchen scene has 5 exchanges showing ritual comfort and emerging alarm. Sensory details include the slick texture of cured meat, the metallic tang on the tongue, the coarse salt crystals, the faint smoky aroma, and the sensation of heaviness settling into the stomach. Physiological explanation: processed meats contain high sodium, which raises blood pressure and fluid retention, and chemicals like nitrates that have been associated in observational studies with
Vascular stress. At night, when the parasympathetic system should slow the heart, these foods can provoke subtle rhythm changes or increase nocturnal hypertension, which is linked to cardiac events. Practical alternative: choose lean turkey slices low in sodium or a small portion of roasted vegetables with hummus earlier in the evening. Timing: avoid processed meats within 3 hours of bedtime and keep a blood pressure monitor handy if you have hypertension. If you experience sudden chest pain or fainting, call emergency services. Item 4. Caffeine late in the day. Dr. Patel often reminds patients that half-life of caffeine increases with age, meaning the stimulant lingers longer. Dialogue. In a cafe scene, Maria said, "I will have one last coffee for the warmth." Sam said, "But it is almost bedtime." Maria laughed, "I have become a coffee person." Dr. Patel said, "Try decaf after mid-afternoon." Anna added, "I switched to herbal tea, and my dad noticed he woke up less." That is 5 short exchanges that show habit shift. Sensory descriptions include the bitter warmth of coffee, the bean aroma filling the kitchen, the metal clink of the spoon in the mug, and the alertness that tenses the shoulders. Physiological explanation: caffeine blocks adenosine, which promotes sleep and stimulates the heart and nervous system, so even a late afternoon cup can reduce deep sleep and increase midnight awakenings. Practical alternative: opt for decaffeinated coffee or a naturally caffeine-free rooibos or chamomile after 2 p.m. and limit caffeine earlier in the day. Timing: avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. as a general rule, and note that medications and slower metabolism can extend its effect. Now I want to hear from you. Many of these small habits are shared in living rooms and kitchens between friends and family. If you have a bedtime snack or drink that you turn to for comfort, write it down in the comments starting with "My bedtime snack is," and just the name is fine. You do not need to explain unless you want to. Your brief note may help someone else recognize a pattern they did not see. When people comment, we create a neighborhood of shared experience and practical tips. Your comment could prompt another viewer to try a simple swap tonight and sleep better tomorrow. Now back to the list. We will go through 4 more foods and close with a short plan you can try this week. Item 5. Citrus fruits and juices at night. Peter, age 70, liked orange slices after dinner. The juice ran down his wrist and the bright smell woke memories of summers. Dialogue. Peter said, "The acidity feels refreshing." Ruth replied, "I eat them to avoid sweets." Dr. Patel warned, "The acid can aggravate reflux at night." Nurse Ellen commented, "Try them earlier in the day." These 4 exchanges show sensory pleasure and medical caution. Sensory notes are the tang on the tongue, the cool slickness of fruit flesh, the bright citrus aroma, and the slight pucker of lips. Physiological explanation.
Acidic fruits lower the pH in the stomach and can trigger reflux and awakenings. Practical alternative: choose non-acidic fruits like banana or apples earlier and finish citrus at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Item 6. Aged cheeses and fermented dairy. Laura, a retired painter who lives across the hall, said she savored a thin wedge of cheddar, the umami richness coating her palate. Dialogue. Laura said, "A bit of cheese helps me relax." Anna said, "It smells strong though." Dr. Patel said, "Some cheeses contain tyramine, which can affect sleep and blood pressure in sensitive individuals." Nurse Ellen said, "I advise low tyramine snacks at night." These 5 exchanges show comfort, smell, and expert concern. Sensory details include creamy texture, the savory aftertaste, the earthy rind aroma, and the slow melt in the mouth. Physiological explanation. Aged cheeses contain compounds that can influence neurotransmitters and, in rare cases, cause blood pressure spikes or interfere with sleep cycles. Practical alternative. Try fresh ricotta or cottage cheese in small amounts earlier in the evening. Item 7. Heavy protein shakes and large meals. Jose once drank a thick smoothie late when he felt hungry. The cold, dense drink sloshed against his teeth. Dialogue. Jose said, "It fills me up without chewing." Maria replied, "But you do not sleep well after." Dr. Patel said, "Large meals direct blood to digestion and can prevent restorative sleep." Anna said, "A lighter meal helped Dad nap less during the day." There are 5 exchanges reflecting convenience and consequence. Sensory notes include the thickness against the tongue, the cold numbing of the palate, the rumble of a full stomach, and the slow energy drain. Physiological explanation. Large meals require more digestion, which keeps the body active when it should be winding down, and increases reflux risk. Practical alternative. Opt for a light protein snack like a boiled egg or nuts, an hour and a half to 2 hours before bed, and avoid full meals 2 to 3 hours before sleeping. Item 8. Alcohol as the evening nightcap. Mr. Lewis, a retired engineer, would pour a small glass of wine to relax. The red gleamed in the glass and he swirled it slowly. Dialogue. Mr. Lewis said, "Just a little helps me sleep." Peter said, "It can actually wake you later." Dr. Patel said, "Alcohol initially sedates, but later fragments REM and can cause dehydration and breathing issues." Nurse Ellen said, "I monitor patients who drink nightly. 5 exchanges show ritual, calm, and later worry." Sensory details include the warm burn of the drink, the metallic taste on the tongue, the dryness in the morning, and the heavy lids at first, followed by restless turning. Physiological explanation. Alcohol disrupts normal sleep architecture, decreasing REM and increasing awakenings, and can worsen sleep apnea or nocturnal hypertension. Nurse Ellen said, "I monitor patients who drink nightly. 5 exchanges show ritual, calm, and later worry." Sensory details include the warm burn of the drink, the metallic taste on the tongue, the dryness in the morning, and the heavy lids at first, followed by restless turning. Physiological explanation. Alcohol disrupts normal sleep architecture, decreasing REM and increasing awakenings, and can worsen sleep apnea or nocturnal hypertension. Practical alternative. Limit alcohol to earlier in the evening and no more than 1 standard drink, and discuss with your doctor if you have heart or breathing problems. To summarize the 8 items to avoid before sleep, remember: pungent, spicy sauces, sugary sweets, processed meats, caffeine, citrus, aged cheeses, heavy meals, and alcohol. Quick practical actions you can take tonight. Finish heavy or spicy foods at least 3 hours before bed. Finish sweets and citrus 2 hours before bed. Choose small protein-based snacks like plain yogurt, cottage cheese, or a handful of nuts. Prefer herbal decaf options after 2 p.m., and keep a glass of water by the bedside instead of alcohol. Check your kitchen together with a friend or family member. Maria or Jose found it helpful when Anna and Sam went through the pantry and suggested 1 substitution at a time. If you are on blood pressure or heart medications, monitor readings and consult Dr. Patel or your own geriatrician when you notice new symptoms. If this video helped you, consider leaving your short note in the comments. My bedtime snack is, and the name of it. Share one small swap that worked for you, or mention a name of someone who helps you make changes. If you care for someone over 65, tell us what they tend to eat before bed so we can offer tips for caregivers. Subscribe to Evergreen Health Guide for more practical guidance about sleep, nutrition, and heart safety. We publish simple steps and stories from real people so you can make informed choices without losing the comforts you love. Remember, changing one small habit is not about giving up pleasure. It is about guarding your sleep and protecting your heart. A little planning this evening can mean deeper rest tomorrow morning. Sleep well, wake strong, and keep making choices that support your independent life.